Alright, hey guys, so I'm going to be doing just some closing thoughts on the ZA12-C. This mouse is getting returned. I did enjoy using it, and overall, with the grip that I sort of settled on, where it's more similar to how I use the MX518 with my ring finger on top of this ledge here, just to the right of the right mouse button, is quite comfortable and still performs quite well overall. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with this from a shape or a performance perspective whatsoever. Essentially, it just kind of came down to that it's slightly less comfortable than some other options, which I perform basically as well with, and are also less expensive. Especially since with this mouse, if I was going to keep it long term, I would probably be sending it off to one of my friends to have it be repainted in like some type of a lighter color with a matte finish, because the Zowie coating is super grippy and nice, but like it's a complete fingerprint magnet, and with my greasy hands, like I really don't like looking at it very much when it gets dirty, so which is like all the time. And so yeah, so I just kind of, the amount of money that I would have to invest into this mouse to turn it into something that I was happy with being like a permanent fixture on my desk going forward is just a little bit more than I felt was really justifiable, because there are basically other options for mice that I find very comfortable to use, which I play well with, which already have a lighter matte coating that doesn't show fingerprints as well and is similarly super grippy, has really good stock buttons, you know, even better thumb buttons, and this particular outset copy has quite a nice scroll wheel. So it's just like, okay, well, this was, you know, less than buying this new, because I got it secondhand, much less than shipping it off to be painted as well. So yeah, I'm just gonna, basically, this is my new main yellow outset, and not the focus of this video, but essentially that's why the ZA12-C is getting returned. It's just not worth the price premium over anything that I'd have to do over the outset. So anyway, or not that I have to do, but that I would really want to do to get it where I'd sort of, yeah. Anyway, so in terms of what is this shape to me, how does it feel? In general, I do enjoy the rear hump of this mouse. The slope here is such that the very bottom of the mouse just ever so slightly makes contact with my palm and helps me kind of feel where it is, but it's not making like really aggressive contact at the base of my hand, so I don't run into any issues with it trying to like run over my skin if I pull the mouse into my grip. The height and width of the hump similarly is very comfortable to use. It does an extremely good job of supporting underneath the first two knuckles here, and kind of in general, like this whole half of my palm feels very well supported and quite comfortable on top of the mouse this way. The right side of my hand is a little bit more kind of not as connected. It's a little bit more out in the open and not really glued to the side of the mouse. And in this case, that's actually a good thing, because it helps with my ability to adjust down and to the right like this. It gives me more range of motion this way by being able to pull the mouse that direction. And this actually does help cover up basically a weakness in my aim typically, which is that I do struggle to hit shots which are down and to the right. So in that sense, again, a very effective shape and one that performs very well for me. It does still remind me of the 518, but with this much lower and narrower front end, it feels a lot more precise. And yeah, definitely in an alternate reality, I could absolutely see this being a mouse that I settle on long term and really enjoy using. But just didn't pan out that way. So, closing thoughts. I still wish the thumb buttons were higher. The scroll wheel is a little bit loose and awkward. Yeah, I think there's just a little bit of wobble internal to its construction. When I post the video that I'm recording, if I do end up posting it for everyone to see, anyway, I'm modifying an S1C and its scroll wheel mechanism, which has kind of a rocking cradle it sits inside of. If this mouse uses a similar one, there's a little bit of looseness to it that creates some extra looseness or rattle in the scroll wheel action that Vaxie's done a better job of managing by having a spring attached to that cradle that tensions it better. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, in general, a 75-gram sort of width cable, wired mouse with a very precise shape, and one that's comfortable, although occasionally my pinky finger feels a little bit disconnected and kind of left out to hang, not as well supported as I'd like it to be. But honestly, even like just one layer of grip tape right over here would probably address that entirely. So yeah, of the ZA, between the 11 and 12, I think the 12 was a better fit for me. The 11 was definitely interesting, but it always felt a little bit big and awkward, and I didn't really feel that I was able to perform that well with it, despite feeling like the shape was speaking to me in terms of having some potential there. Whereas the 12 was a much more natural fit, and I played much better with it immediately. So I guess that's all to say that I understand the popularity of the ZA13 for anybody with, hand sizes smaller than 19 times 10 and a half. That size probably makes a lot more sense and feels more similar to them as to how this one does to me. And so I get it. It's a good shape in terms of, like people mentioned, in terms of strictly from a performance perspective, it's definitely, to me, one of the best shapes that I've tried. So, good mouse, really good mouse. Yeah, not quite the one I ended up settling on.